if you didn't know, this is the Morningwood NFL Sunday here, brought to you by Rumster Sports.
What up, boys? We're back with the Golf Wars Show, the preeminent golf show on the entire internet.
Huge weekend of baseball coming up. We haven't really had a final week like this in a while where there's so many teams that are still alive.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone! Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby beat Freddie!
They might have the best pass rush in football.
They were adamant about not having a slow start.
How many times have they disappointed us? So I'm having a lot less of this game.
The game is over. The New York Jets are the world champions. Mahomes swings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City! The Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions!
Welcome, everybody. This is Run Pure Sports, the Pick and Winners show. I am Statsational here with the man himself, back after a week off. JBC, how are you, sir?
Good. Well, not good, but, struggling along.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, well,
I see the hair's growing back.
Yeah, I need to get a haircut to clean it up.
Getting a little Are you heading home for the holiday?
No. All work, baby.
I love it. The game last night, dive right into that. Everyone talks about how defense wins championships and all that. And then you get that game last night. That's what people want to see. I mean, and that seemingly it was an entertaining game. You didn't want to see it if you had the under, but that, to me, that was if you remember the Super Bowl, like that New England Philly Super Bowl with Foles,
yeah.
To me, that was like two of the worst defenses that I've ever seen. Last night just looked like really good offense. It looked like, for the most part, I mean, Stafford is just still amazingly good. It looked like better offense than necessarily bad defenses last night.
I would agree with that. The first half went about as what I was going to think. The game went normal right up until Darnold threw the pick six, and it was then it went off the rails.
Yes,
because the Seahawks started getting desperate with the passing game, and things got a little weird. But I was expecting it to be a lot more low scoring, which first half. But once the weather toned down, it just went nuts.
It changed everything. Yeah, I mean, numbers wise, it was the weather that really, I think, was what knocked it down. 45.5 down to the
right, and the weather went away after the first 2.5 quarters.
Yeah. I mean, my number, I had it at 47, without weather factored in. So I thought it got bet down quite a bit, more maybe than it needed to. But you looked at that first half, the Rams basically dominated the first half, yet they, that game was still tight, which you always kind of worry about if you're live betting. We're not worried about, or something that you kind of look at. If a team dominates, especially two teams that are fairly equal, and yet the line is pretty close, you kind of, I always tend to want to take the other side there, where it's going to regress a little bit in the second half, and that's certainly the way it went.
Yeah, Snyder's saying this first time a team has lost is 500 yards, 0 turnovers, and 3 forced.
I mean, it was an insane game. I was, of course, in the middle of I was watching it while playing trivia at the bar, Christmas trivia. So I did not win this time. I knew I'd be in trouble. Some good questions. I did hit you with one of the questions. How many presents would you get if you received every present in the song 12 Days of Christmas?
Right, and it's not just 1 + 2 + 3.
Right.
So
I mean, everyone at the, I knew I'd be the only one at the bar to get that one. The look of, like, everyone was baffled at the bar, and I'm sitting there doing, 1 times 12.
Listen to the song. She repeats herself.
Yeah. So I was proud to get that one right. But some of the questions were just
but to comment on Snyder's comment, 3 2-point conversions in a row. That's how you do that.
Yes.
And a missed field goal. And mixing a missed field goal.
Oh, the missed field goal,
3
they win the
on
game.
missed field goal.
Yeah, they win the game with if they make that field goal at the end. Did you expect them to go for the 2 there? I don't know what the situation is as far as
Yeah,
tie
because
in the
here's the
standing.
thing. Even if the Rams don't score, you might not have enough time to get back down the field.
That was my point watching it. I couldn't hear because I was out, so
You
I
have
don't know
to
if
go
they were
for
talking.
2.
If tie, I would assume because the Rams were ahead of them coming in, a tie doesn't help Seattle nearly as much.
You're thinking tie or loss rather than win or loss.
Yeah, because you're really in a no-win situation there. Like you said, if you kick off, especially the way that game was going in the second half, both teams were kind of obviously moving the ball fairly well. You really had no chance to win the game if you kicked the extra point with only 3 minutes and a little over 3 minutes to go. So I assume you were I was anticipating them going for the 2.
Oh, I know. Yeah. No, I don't think there was any question.
Yeah. I don't know what they said on the game, but I didn't think it was as typically the announcers will make a bigger deal out of it, like, oh, he's a gambler. But
No, I think they knew that.
Okay.
They had to
Yeah,
have
I
known.
didn't know how they.
I wasn't listening to it, but they had to have known.
Yeah, I would think so. Because it looked like the obvious play to me. But you look at it now. I mean, you look at the futures markets. Rams are still the favorite here to win the Super Bowl, but Seattle's right behind them.
How did that move MVP, or have they not updated MVP?
Oh, that's a good question. I could look at that right now.
Remember, it took Arnold, but he didn't
So Stafford's minus
I think it's
225
like a
for
pick
MVP.
six, so it's like
Yeah. So I mean, Darnold's plus 7. It's basically Stafford, May, and Allen.
yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, you got to, you watch that. We talk about mobile quarterbacks. We talk about all this stuff, and I'm watching Stafford, who's been in the league seemingly forever. He's the mobile that you need. Like, he's not running mobile, but you see him roll out, and guys he can roll out and throw. He still has a cannon for an arm.
Well, that's the thing, because he can kind of just flick it and get the short passes off. He doesn't have to put any juice on it, so he doesn't have to rear back, and the release time is real short.
It's short, but he still has his fastball. He's not,
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, if the rush is coming quickly,
he doesn't need
he doesn't need an extra second. Like, Jalen Hurts looks like a fucking windmill when he's
Jalen
throwing.
Hurts is to Tua and Hurts, those guys, they
rear back.
They're putting everything into it. Yeah, it's not the Aaron Rodgers flick of the wrist and zip it in there sort of deal. So, yeah, if you can't see the difference in some of these quarterbacks just as a quarterback, that's why I never liked Tua. To me, it was always just kind of gimmicky. He was always just hitting guys who were wide open.
The problem with Tua was after the hip in college, because he was great right up until the game against Ole Miss or Mississippi State, whichever one it was, and he broke his hip and he couldn't get any juice on his throws anymore.
Right. Well, that's it. And then
that's been his whole pro career.
The guys who didn't, you don't necessarily have to have the cannon for an arm. I mean, Peyton Manning didn't have a cannon, but you've got to overcome that with your ability. We didn't even talk about Phillip Rivers played last week. Talk about a guy with no arm. At
the Fantasy Football World Championship, that's all anyone was paying attention to.
Nobody
was paying attention to the contest. Everybody was just betting Phillip Rivers props.
But look, he threw for 150 yards. I mean, it wasn't, he wasn't driving.
He didn't do anything stupid.
What's up?
He didn't do anything stupid. And it was the classic example. And we talked about this. Could somebody with zero arm talent, if they knew everything in their head, play in the NFL? And the answer is yes.
100%, because he's basically all these guys, Flacco, they're coach, and Flacco
can still throw. Phillip Rivers could
throw,
not
but what
throw.
I'm saying, but these guys are and Phillip Rivers cannot throw. So now you're playing a guy that you can't respect anything deep, and he's still able to complete a lot.
Well, is Richardson going to play this week?
Richardson?
Yeah, they activated him to practice.
That's a good question.
I don't think he's going to play, but
I mean, with how Rivers play, I mean, not that they didn't light up the scoreboard. The defense really obviously kept him in the game, but after last week, I would just leave him in there. And
you might have to score to keep up with San Francisco, though. I don't know.
There's no doubt, but I mean, I don't even know. Does Richardson give you a better? He's got the better upside in the lower floor, I would say. You know exactly where you're going to get with Phillip Rivers. But it's just impressive. And like I said, this league is at that position. It's more about being smart than it necessarily is the skills, which is why it's so hard to project. You get the guys who get drafted first round, the number 1 overall pick. They've got all the talent in the world. These Justin Fields. I mean, who's got more talent than Justin Fields? But if you don't have the ability to read the defenses and know and be smart thinking on the fly, or even before the play happens, more importantly, which is most of the great quarterbacks know kind of where they're going to go before the play and get themselves into the right play when they need to. They set the blocking up properly. So that, I think those are the hard things to really project from a quarterback.
I actually had this conversation on Twitter yesterday with James McCool from Pater. He said, and I'll just quote him. He said, "I think you could go so far as to say the quarterback position is more or less an extension of how well the offensive coordinator can put together their progressions, which we have seen justified to an extent in the past couple of years." And I said something along the lines of, let me find out exactly what I said. Oh, damn it. Clicked the wrong thing. I talked about how quarterback wins was one possession games was a quarterback stat, and how the only real advantage you can have as a quarterback nowadays is the improv stuff, the 2-minute drill. So, that's why the guys that are statues can't do it anymore. And that's why somebody like Tom Brady, who could get it done in a 2-minute drill and also didn't really have much mobility, was kind of a unicorn, just because typically to get it done in the 2-minute drill, you have to be able to run a little bit. And you see it more and more now. A lot of these guys are taking it upon Mahomes, and it got him fucking hurt. But he ran all year.
Yeah, this is the most he's ever run. Yeah, typically because you need that element because in the 2-minute, a lot of times the defense is playing a little, they're playing back. It does give you some running lanes as a quarterback, and you got to kind of take what they'll give you if you can get the 7-yard or run just to keep the drive going. I agree. But you got a guy like Eli Manning, who was probably better in the 2-minute than he was as a quarterback in the full 60 minutes of a game. You get, again, I think that goes back to him being a super bright guy, understanding football, and in the 2-minute, him just kind of controlling it where you're not getting the plays called in.
Right.
He was able to get them in the right plays because he was a much better quarterback in 2 minutes than he ever was.
And so it separates them, because it's like your guys that are 1-2 progression and that rely on the offensive coordinator to a significant degree. The one that I would point out right now is Trevor Lawrence, who I think is not very bright, but like has extreme physical tools. You get in these close games at the end, and remember the game against Houston, in Houston, where they were up so much?
Yes.
If he could improvise in a 2-minute drill and call his own plays, he would have won that game. But
yeah, I think that's a really good point. The other thing that I'm looking at, the quarterbacks, and Caleb Williams, that play that he made.
Yes, Caleb Williams is a perfect example, because as much as people think, Caleb Williams doesn't really run. He kind of runs.
No, he can run.
He can run. He runs like Mahomes level of running.
Exactly. He reminds me a ton of Mahomes in the sense that touchdown, was it to Moore? I think the touchdown that he threw in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, the play was unbelievable, but what I'm impressed, you've got to look at quarterbacks' eyes and feet to judge. When you see the bad quarterbacks, it's like their eyes are all over the place because they don't know where. Either they're stuck in one spot, or they're looking so erratically at the field because they just don't know where to go.
They don't know what they're doing.
Williams, I'm watching him. I watch Drake, man, the young guys. It just looks like they know what they're doing by their eyes. Like,
how much of that is on Ben Johnson and Josh McDaniels?
100%. I think Ben Johnson is the key there and has helped him out. But you've got to have that ability too. I mean, I just don't think, I don't think Ben Johnson could help Justin Fields.
Well,
you know what I mean?
He helped Jared Goff.
Yeah, well, Goff had already wasn't exactly a bad quarterback.
But Goff also has only worked with McVay and fucking.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this, and you talked about the resurgence of Baker Mayfield and these guys. How many quarterbacks out there just never lived up to their potential because they were just in a bad situation and they didn't have
a good coordinator? Yeah,
they didn't have the right coach, and they didn't come in.
Tons. It's all circumstance. It's like everything else in life. You can only be so good. A lot of it has to do with your circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain luck element to everything, but I think football is crucial at most positions because the team is so important. It's different in baseball. I mean, baseball, if you can hit,
Well,
you can
baseball,
hit.
your team's not like Mike Trout. Team's never going to win.
Doesn't
So-
matter.
But that's the thing. People don't blame him for it. People will blame the quarterback if the team loses.
Yeah, because you have a very small impact. One player in the lineup has an extremely small impact.
Unless
You
you're
had
Ohtani.
Ohtani and Trout, and they couldn't win.
Yeah.
So, it has a very little, but you can hit. If you can hit, you can hit. Whether you play for,
Yeah.
the Blue Jays or the Angels, or
But it
doesn't
does
really matter.
help if you have Aaron Judge hitting behind you, Trent Grisham.
It helps. It helps, right? But
When did Trent Grisham turn into an all-star?
yeah, no, I'm not saying it doesn't help.
You know what I
And
mean?
Listen, Jeff Kent's going to the Hall of Fame now, and he had Barry Bonds for those years, so that certainly does help. But at the end of the day, you still have to hit the ball. I think in football, even defensively, if you're not in the right scheme that fit, like there's certain teams that will focus
Well, dude,
on
they're
that.
triple teaming Myles Garrett, and he's still going to break the record.
No, yeah, I mean he's insanely good. But yeah, you've got to get yourself at all positions in the right situation. You got to get the at the usage, and I just it's always a curious thing, like how many quarterbacks out there who kind of were busts, maybe wouldn't have been busts if they were in different situations. If
Oh,
you had a Johnson as a coach, so it's definitely interesting. So who do we like here? Are we still on the Rams as the best team, even though they lost that last night?
Probably. I do like Green Bay, although I'm about to spout a different opinion. I mean, Buffalo is constantly improving. It's a toss-up, man. Baltimore shut out Cincinnati on the road.
That was one of the more surprising. Not that they won the game, obviously, but the fact that they shut
The
them
defense
out.
was so, well. That's the thing. What's rule number 2? Joe Burrow sucks.
Well, now, and that's a whole wacky situation. I don't want to get too deep into Cincinnati, but I mean, it's like he doesn't even look like he wants to play.
He sucks.
Yeah, well, we did say
Rule
there
number
wasn't a
1.
big
Rule
drop
number
off.
1. Jaden Daniels sucks. Rule number 2.
I said it
Joe
on
Burrow
the
sucks.
yeah. I mean, well, there's just I think we said it when he got hurt. I think you said it where I like to figure out what the value is of the quarterback and the backups more. And you just didn't think it was nearly as big a drop off. I think it was Flacco at that time.
Maybe.
Right?
It was
Was
Jake.
Flacco
It might have been
first
Jake
then?
Browning.
Oh, it was Browning first.
And then
It
Browning was terrible this year.
Who was terrible.
Once they
Yeah,
got Flacco, it was fine.
right.
But
So-
it goes back to the other conversation. They're like, oh, Joe Burrow loses all these one possession games because his defense gives no. Losing one possession games is a quarterback stat.
I wanted to go back to that because if you look at my, I've been doing my rankings and ratings for years, and the teams, there's certain teams through that time that always seem to record-wise outperform their rankings. It was the Patriots, the Mahomes teams with obviously Kansas City, Drew Brees, the Peyton Manning teams. Excuse me. Those teams would be like 5th or 6th in the rankings, but have the best record.
Right.
And it was consistent, so it wasn't like a short sample. It was year in, year out.
I remember
And you
there
have
was
to
a
attribute that to
juncture.
the quarterback.
I remember there was a juncture. Probably, this would have been around the time, like toward the end of Brady's time in New England, maybe like 2013, 2014, where you and I were talking and was like, we were just like, how about we just start tossing every single bet against New England because statistically it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100. Yeah, when we first got together, and then I looked at the. I mean, basically, and it makes no sense that you could bet on the star quarterback because essentially that's what the public
Wants to.
tends to like to do. Yet, if you bet on Brady every game, especially when he was an underdog, you made money.
Well, it's
Same
like
thing
Nick
with Peyton
Saban
Manning.
covering 60% of his games in Alabama or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, it's like they can't make the lines high enough. And if you're basing it on the models, I wound up it was about 1.5 points extra for those special quarterbacks that you
Well,
almost
but
had.
the thing is,
I-
when you're getting that 1.5 extra, usually it's like, oh, I'm laying 13.5 instead of 12. What's the fucking difference?
There's no difference. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you're right, because the reverse is also true, because you're going to get these quarterbacks who the opposite, like you said, those one possession games often come down to quarterback play. It's getting that 4th down conversion, which is why the one advantage that Jalen Hurts has is they get all those short conversions, and that's what's this year they've had some hiccups on that play, which has certainly hurt their team. But it's not throwing the interceptions.
And that's why last night was such an anomaly, because Sam Darnold is not that guy, and they fucking 3 2-point conversions in a row, dude. Like, there was no way that I thought that all was about.
Well, that's a 50.
Like,
it's
when the
basically
Seahawks
50,
took the ball at the end in overtime, when the Seahawks received the ball in overtime, they were getting like 600 on the money line.
Yeah, because for
You
them
have
to win
to
the
score
game,
and go for 2. You have to get 8.
Right, because we went out. You basically needed the touchdown in 2, so that's a 50. I mean, it's a 50-50 proposition. So to get 3 in a row is only like a 10, a little, whatever, 10, 12% or whatever, 12.5%. So yeah, it's very unlikely that you're going to get 3 2-point.
And what are the odds they score a touchdown? Like, okay, so take the odds they score a touchdown in overtime, which you're getting 4 downs. So it's what, 40, 60, 50 ish, because you're getting 4 downs.
Right.
Okay,
And
so then take that and add, so at 20%. Yeah, I mean, I still think the plus 500 was a little high.
Yeah, because you're thinking
Or
they should have been
whatever it was.
Yeah, they should have been 4 to 1.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe you were getting a little bit of value there.
That's people shitting on Darnold.
It is, and if you factor in how easily they were scoring,
But I'll also point this out to you: 3rd and 3 on the 7, right? My comment, and I texted this to Bryce. My comment was, because he needed Jackson Smith and Jigba to score, which he did. I was like, it's 3rd and 3 from the 7. I said, there's no way that they throw another pass. That's what I was thinking. And they did. They ran Charbonnet on 3rd and 3, and he got it. And I'm thinking, okay, they're just going to run Charbonnet 3 more times. And they threw a pass, which shocked me. And then on fucking the 2-pointer too.
Yeah, no, the
even though they had gotten the last 2-pointer with a run.
I didn't think there was any way they were going to try to run for the 2. I think
I know. Okay, I get why they weren't going to run for the 2 that time, but they ran for the 2 the time before.
They did. I didn't think they were running. I mean, I was pretty set on the fact that they were going to they were gonna throw the ball there. But
they're going to Saubert. It's so funny because I had so much Saubert in DFS, and that's the only ball I caught. And it's like my numbers like tangibly ticked up when Saubert scored the 2-point conversion.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's at the price for sure. So yeah, I mean, so we still I still got to go around. I still think we're getting value on Houston. We haven't talked a lot about Houston here, but that's the team we mention every week. I think plus 1,100 here at DraftKings.
I think the issue is I'm not sure they're going to catch Jacksonville.
Yeah, you might be right.
Having to go 3 road games would be hard.
I just think, yeah. I mean, typically teams, warm weather, they're not indoors all their games, right? They have a retractable in Houston, but for the most part, let's just call it a warm weather. You have not gotten many warm weather teams go on the road in the postseason and make it to the Super Bowl. Did Tampa do it when they won? I know Tampa was back in the day with Tampa,
yes.
Not the Brady teams, but the
Brady teams went on the road 3 times.
Did the Brady teams do it on the road? Okay, so that was unique. But I remember the early 2000 Tampa team.
But that was also with no fans.
What was that?
That was also with either no fans or limited fans.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they were in the that was the COVID year or whatever it was. Yeah, but it is difficult. But the thing they do really well, obviously, is play defense, which seemingly travels pretty well during the postseason. I don't know if Stroud's the guy, but certainly Nico Collins to me is one of the more underrated players I think in the entire league. Nico Collins, he's just now on. I think his DK price now is, I think it was 7,400 or something like that this week. You were getting him at a bargain, I thought, for a while. I mean, he's the notch below the JSN, Puka, that caliber of a receiver, and you were getting him at like 2K less.
Well, last year he cost so much.
He did, yeah. Well,
so
absolutely.
It's been different since every single other useful receiver they had got fucking died. Tank Dell, rip Tank Dell. Hopefully Tank Dell's okay by next year. I don't know.
That was the play on the quarterback sneak that was like a wacky play where he was blocking on a quarterback.
No. Tank Dell was the one in the back of the end zone. He catches the touchdown in his knee.
Who got hurt from them on the blocking? It was someone I had on my season-long team, which
they lost a bunch of guys at receiver. Because I remember going into last season, I was thinking Oh, they've got like 10 receivers. Oh, it was Diggs tore his ACL in blocking.
Was it? Is that who it was? Okay. Yeah, it was. Look, but the bottom line is I think Nico Collins is kind of matchup proof. I know we're not doing DFS, but he's their number one option, and man, he seemingly just comes through on a week in, week out basis. So, but I still like the Texans here at plus line. So the one before we get into this week's games, I do have to kind of mock the Patriot fans a little bit. It's part of the beauty of Twitter. I know everyone wants to knock social media. I knock social media quite a bit myself. But one of the advantages of social media back in the day, you couldn't really make fun of teams out of a different market. Like living in New York, it was, Yankee Mets, Giants, Jets. You can, fight back and forth.
Make fun of your one friend.
All the Patriot fans who were up 21-0 were just barking about how they were being disrespected. They should have never been an underdog. This is the best team. And now those tweets did not age well, or those posts on X. So that was fun to see.
The chat, Buffalo was my number one bet last week, and the chat was all up my ass on Discord for the entire first half. And oh man, that was.
Well, you had there were two games last week that was like the disrespectful sort of lines, right? So it was certainly that game. What was and Denver at home against Green Bay, where
Green Bay blew it. Yeah.
And Green Bay blew that game. So Denver actually proved, didn't necessarily prove. I think the line was correct, but they went out and actually won the game and said, hey, we're better than this. But the Patriots were not able to do the same. So, all right, let's jump into this week's action here. We got some good games. You got the Commanders. We'll start on. We got a couple of Saturday games, right? Yeah. Saturday games. This brings me back to one of the bad beats, the December Saturday.
Well, do you want to go college football playoff game today?
Oh yeah. We got a couple. The game that starts tonight.
Yes, we do have a game.
I got to finish. I got a Survivor pool that my buddy asked me to get in with him for.
Yeah, I know football. DraftKings is running some pools for the bracket that I think are probably going to overlay if you do not go play them.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some decent overlays, so there's probably worth hopping on DraftKings and playing some of those. Let me bring up the college football and look at where we're at as far as the lines go right now.
I initially when this line came out, I was thinking Alabama, but once I actually dug into the numbers, the Alabama and Oklahoma game, Alabama's just looked so bad the last 2 or 3 weeks. I just in Oklahoma with the extra time off, and at home, only laying 1 after they already beat them on the road. I think I like Oklahoma here tonight.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing this line move towards Oklahoma as well. I was a little surprised that I like Oklahoma. Also, I'm with you. I'm with you on that side. I've got to convince my buddy who in the Survivor pool that because he's convinced that Alabama went. He thought Alabama was a little unlucky in that first game. He's like, I watched that game
against Georgia. No, the fucking they got destroyed. I feel like they got exposed a little bit in that game.
I think so. I think I like. I mean, obviously that's the marquee game here for the first round. Should be a fun game to watch. But I agree with you. I'll take Oklahoma. What do you think? We're looking at the Miami A&M game.
Oh yeah, no, I like Miami in that game, and I think getting the points there is a little bit of a gift. At least getting more than 3. Yeah, I know it's down to 3 juiced most places, but Texas A&M I think has been. Even though I bet on them preseason, Texas A&M sun ran the whole season. The game against South Carolina, the game against Notre Dame. I just don't think Texas A&M is that good, and I think Miami goes out there, plays with a chip on his shoulder, and I think they win outright.
Yeah, this is another one. Where's the line move been?
Miami's gone from 4 to 3.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just looking at the money line move quite a bit since the open down in Miami's favor. So I think this game probably I would have had this closer to a pick 'em. I don't know if you would agree with that.
Yeah, even on the road. I think it's going to be a little more low scoring than you think. Texas A&M, I don't have faith in their offense to score here.
Got any other opinion in the this Oregon?
Oh, I got my biggest bet of the week. My biggest bet of the weekend is on Oregon.
Oregon to just cover this, the
They're
big
just
spread here,
smashing them,
20 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to say. And where do we got? I'm sifting
And
through
the
all
last
the
one's
games.
the Ole Miss and Tulane.
Yeah, I'm trying to
The
find
thing
that
about
one.
this game is they already played it. They played Tulane at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss won 45-10.
All right, let's see where the market is here. Okay, 17 and a half now.
It's gone up from 16.5.
Yeah, you're across the key number here, 17 and a half. Not scaring you? You still like it?
There are some 17s. I would obviously prefer that, but I don't think it's going to matter.
I don't see any. Where you see? I don't see any 17s.
Westgate, Circa.
Oh, Circa has, okay, because I'm just looking at some of the main books. They're all 17 and a half right now.
Yeah. So,
all right, we've got your ticks. So you're going fairly. You like the two big favorites, and then
two big favorites in Oklahoma and Miami, Florida.
And then the coin flip game, we're taking Oklahoma, and we both like Miami here as a small dog. Take them on the money line then.
Who do you think's winning the Natty? Who's winning?
I still think it'll be Ohio State.
Yeah. I got my Texas Tech 125-1 ticket.
I mean, I think that's the best of the, if it's not Ohio State or, the
Yeah,
market, I think Texas Tech's
listen,
one shot.
Preseason, I had Texas Tech 125-1, Texas A&M 40-1. I feel good about getting those both in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad ticket to hold, so I don't mind that at all. All right, let's head to these Saturday NFL games. We've got the Commanders hosting the let's see, I've got to
Philly.
bring it up. Yeah, I know they got Philly, but for whatever, now my screen's all screwed up. But yeah, we've got, let me get it to the right market because you made me flip to college. And 44.5 plus 7. Both of those are at minus 110 over at DraftKings. What do you think here? Commanders and Philly. Look, Philly last week, you can't knock them. Look, they played what has now become probably the worst team in football. Vegas, I don't think we certainly didn't think that coming into the year. Tennessee's been playing better, so I think they've taken the moniker.
Vegas won at New England in week 1.
And people were taking them in survivor pools. It was like, it was like,
I bet on them.
I know. And they won that game. Yeah, it's a long time ago. What's that line now?
So that week they were getting like 1.5 or 2, and they won.
It's a 2-touchdown spread now, at least. No,
at least.
Yeah, it's like a 2-touchdown spread. That's a big move without injury.
Yeah, Geno's still in there.
Yeah, that's a huge move through the course of the season. But
Geno's not in there. Well, Pickett's in there right now, but even with Geno in there, they're getting 14.
I don't know if I can remember it. And the team, well, like, it's one thing if New England just beat the crap out of them and like, well, they were off on that line. No, they lost the game and they'd still be the 2-touchdown dog here if they played that this week. But yeah, I mean, back to this game. Look, Philly takes care of Vegas. You can't knock them. Look, they needed that game. They needed to look good. There were other teams that played weak teams last week, didn't look nearly as good, and they may have won, but so you can't knock them there. But Philly here, again, not playing the toughest of opponents. They take care of business, +7, and just kind of roll Washington, or do we like the home dog?
I lean toward Philly here. I don't think that Washington is really going to be able to score with Mariota on offense with how good Philly's rush defense is. They're going to need to chuck the ball down the field, and I don't think that they can do that whatsoever with him back there. So, yeah, I see Philly controlling the game in a similar manner to last week. We're looking at like a 23-10 like type deal. Like I think it's under in Philly.
You like the under?
Yeah.
I think that's the side I prefer. I prefer the under as well. I would lean Washington. I like this dog and the under. I mean, I have it at 43.5, so it's not crazy off the market, but I do agree. I think we'll get a little bit lower scoring. Look, the Mariota game though, that everyone's going to bring up is that Denver game where he looked really good, but I think we always remember more of the outlier. I think that was more of an outlier of a game than
he played well last week too.
He did, and I that's why I think they'll keep. I think the game will stay fairly close. So I'm leaning here. I would only make this really a 4.5, 5 point line. So I don't mind taking the 7 and the 43. I just feel better about the under in this one than because I think it'll be obviously closer than you do. I don't know if Philly is necessarily I just don't think this game is going to be an up and down, back and forth, up and down the
Well,
field.
no,
Philly defense will play really. I think Philly defense is going to play well, which is why I prefer the under. I also don't have confidence in the Philly offense really going out there and put 30 up. So I think they'll keep it into 24 max points here for Philly, and I think that keeps us to the under. So I like the dog and the under. All right, we go to Chicago. Big one here against Green Bay. Chicago was they were a dog here to open, right? And now we're laying a 1.5 with Chicago at home. You're laying -112 on that Bears line over at DraftKings. 46.5 is the total, -110. What do you think here? This is probably the game for all the marbles in the North, I would think.
I mean, I think it's going to be up and down, which to me does not favor the Packers like whatsoever in terms of game script. And in a close game, as we discussed earlier, I have much more faith in Caleb Williams to win a close game at the end than I do in Jordan Love. So I'm going to go with the Bears and the over.
You like the Bears and the over. Yeah, this is true. How much do you think the defensive players don't typically move the line much? Do you think you think that injury moves it how much? A point?
Point. But around the zero, it could be worth all of it.
Right.
All the movement so far.
Yeah, you got to take that into account here. Obviously, well, sometimes you do get a pick 'em game, but yes, around the zero is a bigger move. So you think that was is that the move here on this game towards the Bears?
That's part of it.
Yeah. So, and anything on the total here of 40, what is it, 46.5?
Yeah, and it's going up. Similar reason.
So you like this? So you like, hit me again because I was looking at some of it. So Bears
and over.
And the over. Yeah, I kind of like this. It's close for me. I like the Bears and the over as well, though. I do think, statistically, and now his name is totally eluding me, and he was a Cowboy. Who just got hurt for Green Bay?
Micah
Parsons. I think statistically not really a dominant year for Parsons, but I think what he brings to the entire defense.
They're doubling him, but yeah.
Well, they double him, but he plays multiple. He's a multifaceted player. He can stop you. You can't run at him. He can stop the run.
If you look at his pressure rate and all that kind of peripheral bullshit, it's all still there.
Exactly. So it's just you look at sack numbers and things like that. It's not necessarily impressive, but I think I think those type of players change the entire defense for you, for the positive or the worse when they're not in there. Having those type of players, so it really makes or breaks a defense. I think this is going to be a big loss here for Green Bay. That's why I like the over. I think the Bears, I like what I've been seeing out of this Bears offense and Caleb Williams. I like the Bears, and I agree with you here on the over. I've got it at 46.5, but I just think I've got to adjust that number based on the injury, and I would adjust it to the over at least a point. So I do like this one to the over. I think that loss is tremendous here for Green Bay. All right, Cleveland hosts the Buffalo Bills. We're getting 10.5 at home with the Browns. 41.5 -108. You're paying -115 if you want to take the 10.5 with Cleveland over on DraftKings. What do you think here, Buffalo, Cleveland?
I think what we saw out of Cleveland last week is going to persist, considering they're missing the entire starting offensive line. And it's unfortunate because Shedeur put up that one really good game, and now everybody's hurt, and I don't see what hope he has with all these backup linemen against Buffalo. Bosa's going to kill him. I can't see the Browns scoring very many points when they can't block anybody, so I like Buffalo in the under.
Yeah, the one thing I like, I always talk about this with the young quarterbacks that drives me nuts with these coaches who they think they're coming up with a conservative game plan, which is like, hey, we're going to throw all these 5-7 yard passes. But what do all the great quarterbacks do well? They hit those 5-7 yard passes. That's more difficult to me than throwing the ball downfield. Like what Sanders has done well is throw the ball.
How did the Browns move the ball last week? That one bomb down the field.
That's it. But to me, when you have a young quarterback, they've done two things well with Shedeur, which is they've had a couple of screens that they've been able to break, right, which are obviously fairly simple passes, and he's hit the deep ball, which he's capable of doing. I think that's how you move the ball with a lot of these young quarterbacks because you don't need the readability doesn't need to be there to throw the ball deep, and you're relying on, if you get you just have to get that one-on-one and then just rely on your talent. I don't need to be accurate throwing the ball 40, 50 yards downfield. I need to get it in the vicinity, let my guy make a play where these 5 and 7 yard, like if I don't read it properly, they're jumping in front of me. The defense is jumping in front. That's where all the interceptions happen. So it drives me nuts. And you're also relying on a young quarterback to be able to dink and dunk his way 70 yards down the field for touchdowns, as opposed to, hey, if we take 10 shots down the field and we hit 2 of them, okay, great. Or if they're interceptions, big deal. It's
right. Do you want to hit 5 singles or 1 home run?
Exactly. So I like what they're doing there, and I've seen that actually with a couple other quarterbacks this year. Obviously they've been listening to me because that's what I've been preaching for years with the young quarterback. Throw the ball deep. So he has done that well. But to that point, I agree with you. With the offensive line, to throw the ball deep, you do need an offensive line. One thing he does not do well is avoid sacks from time to time. He does hold on to the ball a little bit, maybe longer than he needs to. And with that offensive line banged up, I think they will struggle.
He's afraid of making mistakes, which I don't like that problem because it's the Justin Fields conundrum.
Yes,
you gotta let it go.
But that goes back to that's why when you look at a quarterback's eye, like I'm watching, when I look at Caleb Williams' eyes, I'm just seeing like there's no fear in his eyes. He looks in command of the field. He knows what he's looking at. Drake May's got that as well. When you look at Justin Fields, you look in his eyes, you're like, he looks scared shit of doing something wrong, which I get it, right? But it takes the special player who doesn't have that look. And yes, as a quarterback, you've got to have that ability to just not give a crap whether I throw in it. You need Jameis Winston's mentality.
Yeah. But Jameis Winston has gotten benched consistently throughout his career. So I get it.
Well, he's been over the top bad in bad situation. But you want that mentality. He's also been in the league forever too, right? But you want that mentality. You want, the real example is Brett Favre, right? You want that gunslinger mentality, but you also have to be able to get it done more often than not.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Once you get to the level where you're never going to get benched, then it helps a little bit. And Caleb Williams knows he's not fucking getting benched. So
listen, confidence in every aspect and in all of our jobs, confidence is a huge deal. And I would imagine playing quarterback in the NFL, if you don't have that confidence,
I would say lack of confidence is more important in our job.
Yeah.
We want to be less confident.
Well, yeah. Well, ego is probably the better. You don't want to be too high on yourself.
You have to be able to change your mind a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you have to not change your mind. You have to be able to look at yourself and know that you're wrong. Either your process is incorrect, or you have to be able to self-evaluate. I think that's
digest new information and adapt based on that.
Yeah. You got to be honest with you, but I think that's good advice for everybody. If you can evaluate your own self accurately, I think we'll all be better off. If you're too high on yourself or too low on yourself, it doesn't really pay off well. All right. So yeah, so I'm in agreement with you here. I like Buffalo. The total, did you mention it? 41.5? Yeah,
I like under. Because I don't think Cleveland can score.
Yeah, I'm gonna, my numbers have it point over. I'll lean to the under here as well, just because I think I'm in agreement with you. I think Buffalo.
The line issue is just.
That's I think
we've talked about cluster injuries in the past.
I was just about to say that we've talked about cluster. If you're missing one player on the line, typically is not going to move the line. But when you have you saw it with the Chargers, right? The Chargers have those issues. It changed. And you don't have a quarterback who can. You don't have Josh Allen on that side of the ball who can kind of overcome maybe some deficiencies that you have on the offensive line. You got a young kid trying to make his way. So I agree with you there on that game. All right, Tennessee is hosting Kansas City. You're getting 3 points here from the Chiefs are laying the 3 on the road. -105 if you like Tennessee plus the 3. 37.5 is the total, -110. What do you think here with the Mahomes-less Chiefs, and what's the impact on the line here without Mahomes going down to Minshew?
Let me check. So it opened before that game ended. It was 11.
8 points.
Okay, so I like the under most here. I tend to think that the Chiefs try and play a fairly conservative game plan and keep this low. I struggle to see how Cam Ward's going to be able to score many points on the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense is still pretty stout, as they have been all year. I don't. So I do not foresee the Titans being able to really run up many points. But gun to my head, pick a side. I like Kansas City, just because the strongest unit on the field is the Kansas City defense. So I'll go with that.
I'll tell you what, you got to kind of throw the numbers. I mean, if you look at the numbers, if you take 8 off of mine, I'd only have this at 1.5. I just think psychologically this is a tough spot for Kansas City.
We're psychiatrists now.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be in this business as well. I just think it's going to be tough. I mean, this is the first time they're going to miss the postseason. They were kind of hanging on by a thread. Not only did they get knocked out, but you lose your leader in the process. I don't know if this is a rally the troops type of a game. I think they've struggled all year, and he's really been the one who has kind of carried them on his back. This has been one of his better years, despite the fact that the wins haven't been there. I think he's been the majority of that team, no doubt about it, all year. I think this is a big blow for them, and the Titans are playing improved. I thought the Titans they looked formidable against San Francisco last week. I thought they put up a good performance there. I think this is a winnable game now for Tennessee, and Tennessee's been in this spot all year. They just haven't been playing for anything. I think they would definitely enjoy getting the win here. I think Kansas City having to go on the road with all that happened last week, I think it's a big letdown spot. So I'll take Tennessee. 37.5. I would agree. I think you like the under on this one. Yeah, no, I think Minshew's fine as well. I think it's just a big blow. I don't think this team is very good. I think it was Mahomes.
I think the defense is good. I like the defense.
No, defense is fine, which I think. But so I would lean towards the under. But
did you see the Kelsey quote?
No, which quote?
He said about Mahomes' injury. Hopefully they get him back next year.
Hopefully they get him back.
Yeah.
As in, I won't be there.
Yeah. So that's another thing. You talk about not being motivated. There's a final few games of some of these people's careers. I don't know. I don't really factor the motivation too much.
Yeah, I think it's tough when you're at that high level that they've been at for so long to have all of that kind of. It's tough to get up for a game against Tennessee in Tennessee when Tennessee, younger team here, they also suck. Playing. They do suck. I mean, you have to factor that into it as well. But I hate to harp on this game, but when you look at
I love this game is the slop that I live for.
But it's like, but you look at the league in general, like how important these quarterbacks are. Like if you put one of these top quarterbacks, you put a Josh Allen, you put a Lamar Jackson, you put a Patrick Mahomes on Tennessee, right? You could almost put these top quarterbacks on almost any team. They're going to compete because
Tennessee's tough. Because
Tennessee's one of the worst, right?
They're going to have $100 million in cap space after the season. They literally have like nobody signed other than Jeffrey Simmons and Ridley.
But I'm saying when you look at the team, like the makeup of the team, you take the quarterback out of the equation. It's pretty.
They suck. They suck.
They still suck. The Chiefs aren't that great. All right, the defense.
The Chiefs are better than them.
They are, but not much. Look, the Buffalo sucks.
Buffalo sucks, but they have certain players that are pretty good, like a Bosa.
I agree. Look, Tennessee doesn't really have anything.
They've just got Simmons. Simmons is it.
Yeah.
They even had Simmons catch a fucking touchdown last week.
I think just the point is it's just how important the quarterback is. Most of these teams aren't that far. Most teams in the league aren't that far off from each other. The quarterback is such a
who's better right now, Gardner Minshew or Cam Ward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take Minshew.
I think I would too.
Yeah, I'll take Minshew. All right, let's get to the other big game of the weekend. Saints suddenly a Survivor potential pick here at laying 6.5 for those still left in Survivor. Laying 6.5 on DraftKings looks like the biggest. That's
massive line.
The largest spread, -108. Penny's got it at 6.5 also.
Well, Garrett Wilson's out for the season now, and
yeah, I mean, over 40.5. This Saints team, I mean, Saints just went and
they ruined my life last week.
They ruined Tampa. Then they went and
although I bet on the Saints, but it sucked.
Yes, we liked the Saints last week. yeah, they go and hurt Tampa, and then they said, you know what, we'll help you guys out a little bit, and we'll go beat Carolina. So they went and did that. This has been the bad team that I think has been really good for a bad team all year. They've been fighting.
Dude, they've been spicy all year.
Yes. Now they beat the Giants earlier in the year. They get the at their place. Now they get the Jets down there. Yeah, I mean, that's how bad the Jets are here, that the Saints are laying 6.5, but I think it's probably justified. What do you think in this one?
I like New Orleans, dude. Chuck, like I hated on him initially, but like he can move a little bit, and mobility is king when you're a young quarterback, and with Olave back and everything, like they've been moving the ball. Like I kind of got some faith in him at the end of games. Like those 2-minute drills, he looked like he was in command of the offense. Which, I mean, granted, he's like fucking 30 years old, so he better. But like, he looked good. So I'm going to take that all day over whoever the fuck the Jets have at quarterback. Cook. Yeah, Cook. Don't even know where he went to college.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about
it. I was thinking that to myself the other day. It's like, it's very rare that a quarterback will come in and start, and I don't know where he went to college.
Yes.
Cook came in, and I was like, wow, I had no idea he went to Missouri. Like, I had zero clue.
Yeah. No, I'm with I didn't know a lot about him. Let's put it this way. He was no worse than whatever other slop they've been throwing out there.
Well, yeah. But yeah, no, New Orleans. I like New Orleans.
I like New Orleans too here. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. What about the total?
I think it's gonna go over because I think they're gonna fuck around, a little bit and try.
I'm just worried about the Jets being able to score. I think the Saints
scored last week.
The Jets can't stop anyone.
The Jets scored last week.
They did. But I think
they're giving up.
Saints defense is not terrible. The Saints defense is not terrible. Right. In the dome, I'm going to lean to the under. I don't have a strong opinion on either side of this one, but I'm going to lean to the under just because I like this Saint defense. I think they cover the spread. I don't see the Jets scoring all too much, and so I'll lean that way.
I foresee Tyler Shuck being fairly popular in DFS this week.
Oh, for sure. His price has been moving up every week.
He's been running a lot.
He has been. I got to give DC credit. DC was on him at like $4,600 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. So shout out to DC. All right, let's go. Here's the big one. Big one for you. Tampa's at Carolina. The Panthers are a 3-point home dog, -118 to get the 3 over at DraftKings. You got to pay a little juice there to get the field goal. 45.5 -110 to the over. What do you think? Your Panthers, and I mean, this Tampa team is going in the wrong direction. But can they right the ship here against Carolina and take command of that division?
Yeah. Tampa's getting healthy at the correct time, and who would have thought they go through this entire season, and the 2 critical games against Carolina are scheduled for week 16 and 18, and all they've got to do is win one of them, and I think they will. I think they'll win this one. Evans is back. I just don't see how Carolina's going to be able to keep up with them.
What do you think on the total?
I think it stays under just because Carolina hasn't shown a very innate ability to throw the ball. And McMillan, I think, might be out or is out. And, Vita Vea obviously prevents a lot of teams from running the ball. Tampa's strength has always been rush defense. It's strength versus weakness. Give me Tampa.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa here as well. With you, I'll lay the 3. I still think it's just the better roster. It's the better team. It's the better quarterback in the big spot. Like you said, I think they're getting healthy at the right time. It's unfortunate for Carolina that they didn't get to play them in the last maybe 5 weeks or so. That they got to play them 2 of the last 3. But I like Tampa in this spot. And you said on the total, if you did,
under. I don't think Carolina's gonna be able to score.
Yeah, I like the. I think that's a stronger play for me is the under in this one. I think it should be 43.5. I think we get a couple points of value here. So I've got a slight lean on Tampa, but stronger play here for me would be the under. I agree with you. I think Carolina struggles to put a lot of points there up on the board to get this one high enough to go to the over. All right, we got the Cowboys are laying 1.5 on DraftKings -115 and 49.5 to the over -112. They're hosting the Chargers. Looks like that's the if you like Dallas, that looks like the lowest line on some of the major books here is the 1.5. You can get all the way up to 2.5 at some books right now. So 1.5 over on DraftKings. What do you think? Dallas hosting the Chargers.
So I was looking over some offensive line statistics over the last few days, and the Chargers' offensive line is like historically bad. Like obviously it's cluster injuries, but like historically bad. And Herbert has bailed them out at every juncture. But the thing is, with now that with the shift in personnel for Dallas from the Parsons over to the Quinn and Williams and whatnot, their strength is defending the run, not the pass. So I think the Chargers will actually be able to score here. I don't think they're going to have a ton of trouble scoring. It's going to be up to Dallas to keep up, and the Chargers have a much better defense than them. So give me the Chargers as a dog, and I like the over.
I love the over here. I love the over in this game. Yeah, I think it's on. I've got it at 53.5. I couldn't agree with you more. I think the Chargers will be able to put points up. I would lean Chargers as well. I'll take the points here. I think this is more. This game should be closer to well, it's pretty close to a pick 'em. I think it should be a pick 'em. I think it's kind of a coin flip game in Dallas, but I think to me the best side of this game is the over. I can't see. I don't really see the Chargers defense is certainly better than the Dallas defense. That goes without saying. But I think Dallas has proven they can pretty much score on anyone in the league. This offense is as good as it gets really in football, and the defense is just the opposite. So I think the Chargers are going to be able to put up points. I agree with you. This offensive line for them for most of the year has just been, they've just been beat up and bad. But again, when you have that quarterback, and I don't want to put in, he's not in the class of a Josh Allen, he's not a Lamar, he's not those guys, but he is capable. I think it's to me, he's showing me a lot this season with what he's been able to do. He's really lifted this team on his.
I think that the biggest in terms of quarterback evaluation, the biggest tell that you don't know what you're talking about is if you think Joe Burrow is better than Justin Herbert.
I don't think there's any question.
Justin Herbert is infinitely better than Joe Burrow.
I totally agree. Because the quarterbacks who could do it when they don't have the
shit, he's got nothing.
He's got nothing. I mean, he's got good work.
He has no lineman and a little tiny white dude at receiver. And
he's got one big black dude though. He's got Keenan Allen.
Well, Keenan Allen's little too.
No, is Keenan Allen?
Isn't Johnson's pretty big?
Johnson.
I'm gonna look up Keenan Allen's height. Hold on.
I feel like Keenan Allen's got to be.
I feel like I've met him before. No, he's 6'2".
Yeah, it's not tiny.
Yeah, what's McConkey? He's got the dude, but dude,
McConkey like
Keenan Allen's also like 80. Keenan Allen's like 80 years old, and like no, dude, Justin Herbert has jack shit.
No,
Rondé Gadsden too.
No, he's good.
He's good, but like, is he good or is he just playing with
no?
Justin
I know.
Herbert?
I'm just saying you have to give it's
Kamani Vidal.
Yeah, no, Vidal. Well, Hampton's now their main.
But you get the point. Like,
no, I get it. But this is what happens.
And he puts up better numbers than fucking Burrow playing with Jamar Chase
and T. Higgins. Yeah, no, I agree with you. So we are in agreement, though. I think you like the over as much as I do. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the side. That's a very strong play for me is over in this game. Definitely a big bet. All right. Giants hosting the Vikings. Giants 2.5 point underdog at home, -102. Over 43.5 is -108. DraftKings lines. What do you think here with the Giants?
I'm going to go with 9.
You going what?
9.
All right.
JJ McCarthy.
Oh God, yeah. I'm old, man.
9. I don't think the Giants are really going to be able to score much on the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense actually played pretty well against Dallas last week, I thought, despite the game being pretty high scoring. So it's a similar spot to me to that game, and the Giants are a worse team than Dallas. So give me the Vikings.
What do you think on the total?
I think it stays relatively low. Under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite here. I'm gonna take the home dog Giants. It feels ugly. I don't even like saying it, but I think this game should be about a pick 'em. You might be right here. I mean, probably the best unit on the field is that I don't even think probably. I mean, the best unit on the field is the Minnesota defense. The Minnesota defense has actually been pretty good. If they play, if they get some offensive play out of McCarthy, who's been a lot better now in the last few weeks.
9 is back.
What's up?
9 is back.
9 is back. Yeah, well, he was never really here. So 9 has showed up, I guess, for the first time. But I'm hesitantly on the Giants side. Not a strong play for me. And you like this one to go under?
Yep.
I'm going to agree with you. Again, small play for me to the under on this one. All right, let's get it moving. Miami hosting the Bengals. Miami's getting 4.5, over 47.5. You've been ripping the Bengals all day. And Joe Burrow, does Miami deserve, or does the Bengals deserve to be a 4.5-point favorite on the road to just about anyone right now?
Yes, Quinn Ewers is fucking playing. What? How? It's a testament how much Burrow sucks that this is only 4. But I'm taking Cincinnati. Dude, Quinn Ewers sucked in college. He sucks now. The Miami's going to put up like fucking, even on the Bengals defense, I can't see Miami scoring a ton unless Achane carries the ball fucking 35 times. Even then, they're still not going to outscore the Bengals with that defense. I'm taking the Bengals.
You like the Bengals laying the 4.5. Let me see what I have here. Yeah, this is the Bengal games have always been has been tricky for me. I kind of like Miami though. The 4.5. I don't know. Yeah.
What? How much worse, dude? I know you'd think, oh, he can't be worse than Tua. Trust me, he's worse than Tua.
No, I know he's worse than Tua. I just don't. How many points are you giving?
I definitely think it's worth coming across the 3, which it has.
How many points do you think? If what's the value here? Just pure points wise.
4.
You think he's worth 4 points
over Quinn Ewers? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no.
Yes. Tua is 4 points better than Quinn Ewers.
I still like it. Yeah, even with the 4, I think there tends to be. I love playing backup quarterbacks because I think in typical. You're just saying you just think he's really big.
He's ass, dude.
What you're saying is Tua's ass, and this guy is extreme ass.
Did you watch Texas last year?
Yeah, I get it, but it's hard to equate it. And
we went through this with Skylar Thompson with Miami. Both 7th-round picks.
Adam's
out of here.
I think Adam's got a good point there. He's
he just keeps at. How is he even in the NFL?
We'll see. This Cincinnati team.
Yeah, if you can't score on Cincinnati at home, you fucking suck.
That is 100% true. And this Cincinnati team is coming off getting shut out by a terrible defense.
Yeah.
What do you think on the total?
Another clunker, might as well retire.
What do you think on the total here? 47.5.
Under. Ewers isn't scoring.
I like the under. I like the under as well. I think I think the number's a little inflated just because of how bad. Really, I mean, both of these defenses aren't very strong. I think it's a little high. Especially, obviously, you're going to like the under if you don't like the quarterback.
The Bengals defense played fine last week. I just want to put that out there.
They played, yeah. How much of that is that Baltimore offense is with Lamar just has not been good.
Yeah, I get it, but the Baltimore offense with Lamar is a fuck ton better than Quinn Ewers.
No doubt about that. No, they played fine. That's a normal. If you told the Bengals, hey, you're going to give up 24 this week to Baltimore, they would have assumed they won the game.
Right.
They were happy giving up 24 in that matchup. So yeah, it's not this is not a game I love, but I'm going to go. I'll be with you here on the under though as well. All right, we've got. We're getting to the 4 o'clocks now. Denver hosts Jacksonville. You're laying 3.5 with the Broncos. Big game in the AFC. 47.5 is your total to the over -105. What do you think here? Broncos looking to get that home field advantage throughout.
I've been on Jacksonville and against Denver for a minute here, but I think it's gone a little too far. 3.5. I think it is too little for Jacksonville going across the country up there to play Denver. Historically, one of the best home field advantages in football. I do not foresee Trevor Lawrence having a very fun time back there. Although I do also think the game goes over, but I think Denver wins.
Just checking the weather, although it's kind of useless to look at Denver weather.
Can you hear Peach puking over there?
I do hear Peach. Yeah. It's actually, it's actually going to be pretty nice in the 50s. So with not too much wind. If that's the case, yeah, I'm sticking with Jacksonville here. I like the direction Jacksonville's moving in. I like how the offense is starting to, the new offense that they implemented there. It took them a little time, but I like what Trevor Lawrence is doing. What'd you say on as far as the total? Did you like?
I think it's going over.
You like the over, and now I'm losing it. That's 47.5. I've got the total I've got a low total on this one. 43. Yeah. So I'm going to take the under. I think it's a nip and tuck. It seems, I don't know if it's I don't know if I'm right. I keep saying it every week, and I think I'm correct. It's almost as if Denver early in these games has not been good. They've just been good. I know that was the case early in the year.
I put that on Peyton's game scripting. Like if you're bad at the beginning, it's because your coach isn't scripting a good first drive.
It's kind of like college basketball, where I always judge coaches on their inbounds, like after the timeout.
Right.
Like how often do you score after a timeout is all about the coach.
Right.
And the great ones just always seem to get a basket in college basketball. After the time, I agree with you. If you're not scoring early, that's they've got everything scripted now. 15 plays scripted. If you are not doing it early, and they have not been playing well early in the game, I do agree. I think you have to put that on the coach. But maybe you give the coach credit for adjusting in the second half as well. They have played much better in the second halves of these games. It seems like, if they're down at halftime, they seemingly just bet them for the second half and take them. But I like Jacksonville here I think Jacksonville wins this game. I like the direction that this offense is moving in. The Broncos have played a lot of close games. I think this one will be close as well. And we'll see. It's going to be tough for a Florida team to go into Colorado and win a game. But if that game's in the 50s, no big deal. I like this one. Jacksonville and the under. You're taking Denver and the over, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's go. Arizona hosting the Falcons +3. The Cardinals are getting at home. 48.5 is the total to the over, -110. What do you think here with this big matchup, Arizona and Atlanta?
Shootout. Big time shootout. I think this game's in the 30s. I lean toward Atlanta. It's not as strong as the over, but just because Atlanta has better players on offense. But I think Two Moms Trey McBride is about to have a banger of a game here. He's about to set the record for tight end receptions.
Oh, he's
in a season.
They're pricing him as like the third and fourth best wide receiver in football.
Yeah, dude. They said he needs 12 catches. He's getting there.
Yeah. He's been great. Best thing that happened in his career was Kyler Murray going down.
Yeah.
It's been phenomenal for him and Wilson, of course. But I think to me, you like Arizona, right?
No, Atlanta.
Well, you like Atlanta.
I like Atlanta.
But you just think both teams are going to score. I love Arizona in this game.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Arizona.
Wow.
I think Arizona. Yeah, I think to the point. I think Arizona. I would have had Arizona as a favorite, 1 or 2 points.
You know what the game opened at, right?
What's that?
You know what the game opened at, right?
What did it open at?
Pick.
And it's moved to so that's a pretty heavy move. So basically, I'm going against a lot of sharp money here. But hey, I said it last night in our Discord. Someone asked me how the game was going to go, and I said, well, I kind of like it to the over, but I don't know one sharp who took that game to the over. Every sharp.
Yeah, I did. I jacked up the defenses in DFS.
I saw it, which is not typical for you because
although the Seahawks defense did score and the Rams should have scored.
Well, I was laughing when they scored. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, maybe the defenses will come through. But I mentioned in the Discord, I'm like, look, I like the game to be higher scoring, but if you look at every sharp I know who bet the game took the under.
We were all playing the weather, and the weather tapered off.
No, that was the key. But my point is, the sharps aren't always right. So every once in a while, I'll be going. I just think it's moved to the point where you're getting 3. I just think the value is just insane. I don't know if sharps are necessarily betting this game at 3. They were betting it maybe at a pick. I don't think they're taking it at 3. I'll take the points here with Arizona. I like it. I I like the Cardinals at home. All right. We've got Houston hosting Vegas. 14.5 points. I always hate these big totals. This is another college football spread, 14.5, 37.5. Minus 105, minus 112 to the over. What do you think here? Texans definitely playing some of the best football in the league right now against the team playing maybe the worst football in the league.
My favorite bet here is on the over 38. On a 14.5 point spread, Houston could get it by themselves. Philly almost did last week. So it's like if the Raiders provide anything, this game is going over. And, as much as I want to be like, oh, Houston's defense is so great, the Raiders can't. Like, dude, the Raiders are probably going to score like 10, 14 points. So, I think if they do, this game is going over. So I love the over. But I also like Houston. I think that the Raiders, they've quit. Pete Carroll needs to get the fuck out of here. I think I saw a tweet earlier today where someone said, if Pete Carroll agrees to retire at the end of the season, I'll agree to forget this ever happened. I agree with that. Houston and over.
Are we forgiving Belichick as well?
Dude, UNC was not that bad at the end of the season. They were improving.
This is not the legacy that he wants.
This is the legacy that they want.
But I'm gonna. To me, the best side of this game is Houston. I hate laying 14.5 points in the NFL, but I can't see it.
I like it too. It opened at hold on. It opened at 12.5, and now it's 14.
Honestly, I think it's still too low. I think this should be 16.5. I think it's too low, and and we're crossing the key number of 14. I just don't see them in this game.
This is a team that doesn't score very much.
I don't know how they're going to score on Houston.
I think they get to 10.
If they get to 10, you're going to be flirting with the spread.
Which is why I like the over. No, I
know you like the over because you think they're going to you just think they throw a 30 up on them and it's never a game, which certainly the defense might score here, which is going to put this game to the over. It's hard. You can't bet. Can you honestly bet the favorite and the under in this game?
Yes.
That's tough.
I'm doing it like, okay, so for instance, in college, I'm taking Oregon minus 20.5 and under 46.
Curiosity on the SGP, what are they giving you on the parlay?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't. My phone's on the charger.
The old days, they were all too well.
Oh no. It's definitely the anti-correlation. Definitely like it jacks it a little bit.
The old days, they just kept everything at plus 260. Actually, you couldn't. The old days, the books didn't understand the correlation.
The 40% rule. The 40% rule.
The 30.
Where you would take both sides.
Yeah, 30%, and you'd parlay both sides. You'd parlay, and it was a guaranteed winner over time. You'd parlay the under with the
dog,
with the dog, and the over with the favorite, and just.
But teams just will unload and like fucking win, like dude, like that game, the Oregon game. I think it's going to be 38-3.
Yeah, plus 335 on that. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for the most part, you're getting ripped off on these and trying to figure out that correlation. Good luck. I don't want to. I'm certainly not going to be able to do it in my head right now. But yeah, that's interesting. I think the play here again, Houston. I think 14.5 is too little, which is tough to say in the NFL. But right now, I think this Houston team is one of the top 3 teams in maybe 3 or 4 teams in the league, and Vegas clearly the worst team right now in football. So, all right, let's head to
the worst the Titans. They just beat the Titans. They're not worse than the Titans.
I think right now they are. No, on paper they're not. No,
well, I mean they beat them like what 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I think personnel wise they're better than the Titans, but I think the Titans are playing
better.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think Vegas is just like packed it in.
Yeah,
and they're done. All right, Detroit here -7 at home. They host the Steelers 52.5. You got to lay 120. Bit of juice here. If you like Detroit, you can get 6.5 and lay 120 elsewhere. But most books have this one at 7. So probably the best DraftKings would be the best book of the major ones here to take Pittsburgh. 52.5 is the total -105. What do you think, Detroit and Pitt?
I think that the Pittsburgh line, it's a little bit I think this line is a little bit deflated because of how well Pittsburgh played last week for the majority of that game, and Detroit's meltdown out in Los Angeles. I do like this game to go to the over, as I do with pretty much every fucking game Detroit plays. But yeah, give me the -7 on the Lions. That's my best one here.
Yeah, I mean, I do tend to think this will be high scoring, but I think it's just too big of a number here for me to kind of pull the trigger on. But if I had to, I would agree with you on the over. But I agree. I think they inflated, or I think the line is actually a little deflated here. As you said, I think we're getting.
This should be more than
7,
and I think it will be.
What's up?
This should be more than 7, and I think it will be.
I thought, yeah. I mean, I put it at 8. I had it at 8.5 myself, and I think it probably closes a little higher than the 7. You see, it's kind of like I said, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, Penny's only 7 -102, but I just think we're getting some value here. I think getting it at the 7, and if you can get the 6.5, I would take that 6.5 -120 if you can get it over on FanDuel. But I like the Lions. I agree with you. I think the Steelers are getting a little overvalued. I think Detroit has looked. You're right. The game out west for them did not look good. I think Pittsburgh's being overvalued coming into this one. 8.5 is what the numbers say this line should be. So I think we get a decent amount of value on the Lions. All right, let's head to the last couple of games here. The night ones. Baltimore hosting the Patriots. Big game here. -3, -105, over 48.5, -112. What do you think with Baltimore and New England?
As much as I like the way that Baltimore's defense has been playing recently, I gotta think this game goes over. Both these teams are able to score pretty much at will, other than the Patriots in the second half yesterday or last week. So my favorite play in the game is the over. But as far as a side, I do love Baltimore -3. We've gotten to the point where the Patriots are overvalued, and you can't tell me that Baltimore is like, what? If Buffalo was laying 2.5 on the road and barely eked it out, Baltimore's only -3 at home. It's like, I don't think they're that significantly worse than Buffalo. They were favored at Buffalo earlier in the season. I know Lamar is a little more compromised than he was then, but I do love the Ravens -3 and the over here.
I mean, as it's been every week here with Baltimore, we're basically handicapping the health of Lamar, because if Lamar is close to 100%, I think it's a no-brainer here. I agree. I like Baltimore. He has been improving. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, it wasn't the best of weeks last week. He has looked a little bit better. I'm going to agree with you, though. I'm just going to go with the fact that I think every week is beneficial here to Lamar, becoming closer to the guy and player that we are accustomed to. I will take the -3, and I do agree. To me, that really is the way we're going to handle the over as well. So I think if Lamar is improving, it's a Baltimore. If that's how you're going to view it, if you think Lamar is close to 100%, then it's clearly over and Baltimore. But I think it all weighs on, if you just don't believe in Lamar, then it's the total opposite. Now you're coming. I think you're taking the under and New England, but I'm going to side with you here. I think it's hard for the models to necessarily calculate, because we've had Lamar in there, but it hasn't been Lamar. So it's really, it's the difference between you're bringing a fresh quarterback in. You could kind of adjust the model based on what the quarterback differential is. This has been sort of not. It's almost like a different quarterback had played in those first few weeks of him back. So it's a little tricky, but I do favor Lamar and the Ravens in this one. All right, the last game, the Monday night game. And we'll see if we're getting Phillip Rivers again here.
Love this.
It's great that this is the primetime game. They have to play. They got to play Rivers here so we can watch him on primetime.
He was so fat, dude. When he walked out there with that gut, that was fucking amazing.
And he just went right back into talking trash mode too, which is
he's just giving it to him.
He's the best. The guy he's the never like the most like doesn't cuss, as they say.
Right, doesn't cuss.
Yeah. Does not cuss.
But he'll tell you he'll do your mom.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I mean, who knows how many kids he's got at this point. Still spitting them out, I think. But all right, we've got the Colts +5.5, -105, 46.5 You're flat plus 100 to the over on DraftKings. Colts were admirable last week. Defense stepped up when I think that was the biggest shock to me was how well the defense played last week. And then you see Seattle this week. It
was a lot of field goals. Holding in the red zone can be a dicey game. Letting them kick 6 field goals is crazy.
Yeah. Yes. That is true. That's a bit of an anomaly that they couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah. And that's part of why I like the 49ers pretty heavy here. I can't imagine taking less than a touchdown with Phillip Rivers at quarterback. I'm not doing it. So I think the 49ers are going to be one of my better plays this week. So big time.
You like the under?
You know, I don't really have a strong opinion on the total, but if you put a gun to my head, I'm thinking over. Just because, I think it's the 49er totals have been pretty high. And this one doesn't seem as high as maybe it should be. I think they're going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, if where's this total with Daniel Jones? I think it's probably
51.
Yeah, it's probably in that ballpark. So you're taking 6 off the total. What are they taking off the line? Because the Colts are favored in this game with Daniel Jones.
It's probably 3.
9 point.
Well, but it's going across the 0.
Yeah, going across the 0. So
it's probably 7 points for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Last week they would have been getting 6 in Seattle, so maybe 7.
Yeah,
7.5.
And they haven't adjusted with what they saw from Rivers last week. He didn't really.
That's totally possible. Totally possible.
I mean, to go back to what we said, he didn't do anything to really hurt them.
He
but
did.
He wasn't win a game.
My opinion of Rivers improved from before the game last week.
I think everybody. I think you had to. I mean, I just think it's tough for them to be able to put points up because I think he's limited in what he can do. And it hurts Taylor.
He's also a lot more stout than the 49ers.
No doubt about that. But I think you could just basically play the run and play. You could stack the box against him. He's not going to beat you over the top. I think it really hurts Taylor here. I think quite a bit. I just think they're going to struggle to score. I'm with you here on San Francisco. The total, though, I'm iffy on the total. I would probably lean towards the under because the other thing is I think the Colts are going to try to play that game to keep these games low scoring and under. They've got to play a totally different style. They got to rely on the run, short passes. He's not going to turn the ball over, which leads to points, and he's not going to throw the ball deep. So if he can sustain some drops, which I think he'll be able to move the ball a bit, I think that plays and lends itself more to an under situation. But yeah, I think San Francisco, not a strong play. You seem to like it a lot more than I do, but I'll lean towards the 49ers. All right, let's get want to do a pick 6 here?
Yeah, you got something ready? Hold on. Let me show you.
No, I don't have it up, but
I'm saying I have the screen ready.
I'll bring it up right now.
All right. You want to start
NFL?
Or you got to pull it up?
Can we do Saturday games too in there?
I don't think you can combine them.
Yeah, we can't, right? It's got to be all one day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have anyone in mind?
Yeah, I'm going to start with Lamar going over on passing.
Lamar's over. Okay. All right, I'm looking here. I got one that you will not like. Jackson Dart over his pass completion, 17.5.
Or do you want to get 2x on 21.5?
I don't like the 21.5.
All right. Even a 2x?
Well, 2x, I guess. Yeah.
We'll go with 17.
Let's go to 17. It's already hard enough to win these damn things.
All right. Let's see here. What did I have? Quinn Ewers sucked.
Who are you going with?
I said Quinn Ewers to suck.
Oh, which line did you put in?
Under 179.5 passing yards.
All right, give me, I like to go with these. I like to go with second running back, second wide receivers. Give me Tajah Spears, but the under on his rushing yardage for 16.5.
I'm not seeing it.
I think it just popped up. If you don't see it yet, I think that just hit because I didn't see it and then it popped up for me. But if you don't, I'll give you another one.
Yeah.
Give me Drake. You want a different one here?
Yeah.
Give me Drake May's under 243.5. His under yardage.
So Jackson over, May under. Okay. I'm gonna go with there's not like you can't get any props besides like touchdowns and then the passing yards for this game, for instance. Which is kind of odd. Let's go with this. Let's go with Nico Collins to score. How about that?
I like it. I like that. And I'll give you the last one here. Let's take Bucky Irving's receiving yardage to the over 16.5.
Bucky Irving over 16.5.
Sir.
There you go. We've got Lamar Jackson over 211.5 passing yards. Jackson Dart over 17.5 completions. Quinn Ewers suck. Drake May suck. Nico Collins box. Bucky Irving over 16.5 receiving yards. 100 pays 25-1 at least.
There's the winner.
There you go.
All right, brother. We went a little long, but we had a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to talk about.
All right. We will we won't see everybody before Christmas. So for those of you celebrating, enjoy your Christmas holiday. We'll be back next Friday. And we'll see where we're at as far as the college football playoffs go by then. For JBC, I am Statsational. We'll see you all next week. Merry Christmas, everyone.